Hello, thank you for being in a new video. This time I have unboxing the ZTE Axon 55G. Let's get started. This device is part of the mid-range of ZTE, but being of the Axon series, it has some dies a little more advanced that we will know throughout this unboxing. But first, let me tell you about its price. In Mexico, it was launched at 5,999 pesos, exclusively with Telcel and also in different plans. What do you think if you join me now to know what comes in this box and the main features of this device? On the back, the manufacturer highlights a few things like the 6.67-inch Full HD AMOLED display. I think that is a very positive point in a device of this price. It also has a 16-megapixel front camera, and the main camera is 50 megapixels with two added cameras that probably will not give us many utilities. Then we have an 8-core processor that do not highlight what the model is, so we suspect it will be a simple processor, but in a moment more we will confirm it. We also have Android 13. And the internal storage is 256 gigabytes. I think this is another highlight in conjunction with the screen, and the battery is 4,800,000 amps with 33 watts fast charging. So let's take it out of the box. The first thing we find in the box is this tool to remove the tray and place the SIM card that comes inside a pouch. This is something very curious. Usually always come just stuck in the envelope without any special bag. It also includes a very simple quick start guide. And it also comes with a totally transparent and totally flexible case with slightly stiff edges. But it is always appreciated that we do include this type of accessories in the box and that you do not have to buy them separately. Let's see what else is here. In this protector, the manufacturer again highlights three important sections such as storage, fast charging, and the 50 megapixel camera. The design is nice. Of course, we will find a plastic construction with a fully reflective finish. This is what I like the least. I prefer satin or matte designs, but it is a matter of personal taste. What I really liked is this gold finish that they put to the contour of the camera that combines very well with the blue color that has this device. In addition, in front we also notice that it has a curved screen. That is something very uncommon in devices of this price range, so let's put the turn on this equipment and we see that rather in the box. Here is the charger of about 30 watts, and I like that it has a USB-C output unlike many chargers in the price range that are chargers with USB-A. This gives you a much more modern touch, and honestly it is rare to find it in this price range. So I like it already with the charger and cable included. It's a very good thing, but to have a modern one included is even better. Let me put all this away and we'll be back to take a look at the cell phone. And I have already configured the device. The first impression, the truth is that it surprises too much that you have this quality screen with a curved finish in this price range, then surprises a lot in some things, but obviously have to make some cuts in other areas. But for now, let me tell you that the screen is AMOLED 6.67 inches, as I had already told you, but what I was missing is that it has an update rate of 120 Hertz. Then the truth is that it goes very well. The movements feel very fluid. It is 7.95 millimeters thick, so it is also an extremely thin device, and in fact by having a curved screen the frame becomes even thinner, and I like the red highlight on the power button. Also, this device has a fingerprint reader inside the screen, and in this price range, the truth is that I think it is a very strong point because it gives you a much more futuristic touch and looks more modern. The front camera, as we had already seen, is 16 megapixels and back has 50 megapixels for the main and the other two. Additional cameras will not give us many benefits. Let's give it a first look, and the front camera preview is still not very optimized in these backlight scenarios, and after taking the picture, more or less tries to balance it, although honestly it seems that in this section behaves a little simple, possibly because of the processor, although in the review we will review in much more detail the behavior of the front camera. On the other hand, the main camera is 50 megapixels, and it seems that it does get to take advantage of all that level of detail in the first moment. When zooming in this device, the picture still looks a little blurry, and after a few seconds is clarifying to take advantage of the full resolution of this sensor, really, if the 50 are noticed here. Megapixels here, I took some other example pictures. Only the 2x zoom looks of good quality. The maximum is 10x, although it already looks with a much simpler quality. And the main camera, I like the way it takes macro pictures because it gives us a good level of detail. And if you apply a 2x digital zoom, I think you get the best result, unlike the macro camera, which as you can see loses color intensity and in fact is a much more inaccurate white balance. So I prefer to take the pictures with the main camera and not with the macro camera. On the other hand, also provides portrait photography to see whether or not it takes advantage of the depth camera, and it seems that it does manage to detect well these gaps to blur the background. Then at least I think it does take good portrait photographs, although I insist that we will have a more detailed analysis in the video review. The device has the ability to record video in full HD at 30 frames per second as maximum quality, and I think it is something that we could somehow expect in a team of this price range. Finally, let's take a look at how much storage we have free. As you realize, is a huge amount of free storage. This will undoubtedly be of its strongest points, although it is very likely that it is not a storage that has a very high read and write speed. But for those who are not so demanding in system speed and games and other things, is likely that this device will come in handy for the excellent screen quality and excellent amount of storage. To finish, we are going to test the processor, which is a Unisoc, but before you get scared, let me tell you that this is a Unisoc presented in 2023. So it is a very modern processor that already has support for 5G networks. So it is one of the first chips of this manufacturer to incorporate these technologies, and that is why it can get to draw attention, is 8 cores. So let's wait for these tests to finish and tell you more or less what power would be equivalent to a MediaTek or Snapdragon processor. So you have a reference, and we already have here its score, and the truth is that it does surprise for good in a single core. We have 737 points, something that we could say that it is close or around the Helium G99, which is a considerably good processor, and yet the score in a single core seems that it didn't fare as well on this equipment. But for more intense tasks, obviously you'll use multi-core, and in this case it gave us an excellent score of 2,386 points. That's something we could say is close or hovering to equipment that have the MediaTek Dimensity 1080, Snapdragon 695. There are even some Snapdragon 778 that have a score close to that. But as you know, the real performance we will see in the review when we do a test opening several applications and see how it goes in games and more. But the first impression of this equipment is very good. For the moment, we have reached the end of this video. I hope you liked it. If so, you know you can tell us, and we'll see you next time.